Okay, so all of the harassing and begging and pleading with us is finally paid off. We are proud to introduce to you, free to you, Floriani Toll Control Professional owners, design splitting. And I wanted to go ahead and show you how it works. And so I have this design up on my screen, you'll see. And I'm just going to select it. I don't even have to select it. I can just go up to this new icon, and it's called Split Design. So this is where the icon is located when you need to, split a design. So we'll go ahead and click on it, and you'll see that it brings the design up. Now I wanted to bring this one up because this is a design that is made to fit in a 4x4 hoop. So you can see that it actually is showing that the entire design will be done. The reason I wanted to, kind of point this out to you is because how the software works is it's going to have you tell it what hoop you're going to use. So you're going to pick one of your hoops, and based off the hoop size, it will determine how to split the design for you. So there's not anything that you have to do. But you can see that this design already fits within this hoop, so of 100 by 100, so it's not going to split the design. It's only going to help you split a design that does not fit in the hoop. Now, let's say that you still wanted to split a design. You could tell it a smaller hoop if you wanted, and it would go ahead and do that. But we're going to go ahead and resize this design. But again, I just want to show you how it's fitting within the hoop, and it says 1 of 1. And the 1 of 1 means it's just one hooping. And so that's kind of how you know too. But you'll see when we resize this what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and select it, and I'm just going to drag the corner of it a little bit, make it a little bigger. And like we've learned in another lesson with this update, if it drives you crazy that it's not at 0 and 0, you can just right click on your ruler and go to center origin, and it will automatically do that for you. Let's go ahead and hit split design again. Now look at what happened. I have the 100 by 100 hoop still selected, and you'll notice that it's now breaking it up, and you'll see 1 of 1, 2 of 1. Well, I guess we'd go this way. 1 of 1, 1 of 2 designs. The first one for the second segment, and the second one for the second segment. So you can see it breaks it up, and you might notice that we have some red lines here along the side. This has to do with your overlap. I'm just going to recommend that you keep it at the default settings. You could come in here and change this and make it smaller where it would bring these lines in. And what this overlap is it's going to sew. It can sew anywhere within this area for number 1, and it can sew anywhere from this area. So what it's going to do is it's going to determine where to split the design up so that it can keep as much integrity as possible. So you'll see this when I click on the next step here when I go to split preview. But let's go ahead and let's look at, all of our hoop options are here. So we have 100 by 100. So what would happen if I choose a 130 by 180? Well, look at now it's splitting it into 2 sections instead of 4. So it is I can go and I can choose another one, and I might get to a point where, this one fits entirely. So let's go back to this 130 by 180, and you can see that it barely fits in there. So let's just go back to our 100 by 100, and you'll see that it breaks it up into 4 hoopings. And like I said, you can change this margin. If I go to 10, I'll show you what that looks like here. Notice that the split line or the overlap area is going to be reduced. Now, the reason I suggest to put that on the default, which was the 24.9, I think it was, in millimeters, the reason that I suggest that is you want to give it as much area to work on that overlapping as possible, because the software is going to help to blend the stitches together when it sews one on top of the other, and which is really nice. So it's going to feather the effect so that you get a nice even blend. So it's not going to create a hard line that you're going to really notice. So when you get done sewing it out, it'll be harder to tell that you've even split the design. So we're going to go ahead and click on this split preview, because this will kind of show you what the software is going to do. And remember, with this overlap, section 1 can fit anywhere within right in this area. This part in here, you'll see some of these stitches, but not others. And section 2 will fit within this area. This section will fit within this area. And this section will fit within this area. So let's go to split preview. Okay, so now what it's going to do in the split preview, and you have to go to the preview first before you can save it. But you'll see that it's determined that it's gonna keep this entire piece because it fits within this split overlap area, and it's decided that it's going to keep this piece as well, but it's not going to keep some of the things that you find right here. See how this is? It's going to determine the best way to break this apart. So you can see if I keep going over here to 2-1, you can see that in this first one it only kept this. Now this part of the design is going to do all of this area, and the last one will do this part of the design. So the software will determine the best way to split that up, and you can kind of see right here how it's doing a feathering effect. That's going to help blend the two together. So it's kind of it allows you with this preview to see what it's going to do before you ever save it. Let's go ahead and hit save, and now we're going to tell it where we want to save this design to. So I'm going to be right inside of my designs folder, and I'm going to call this split love, and then hit save. I'm going to keep it in the C2S format, but you'll notice that I did not put it into a folder. I'm just calling it split love. When I hit save, you'll notice what it does. It actually created a folder called split love. So if I go back to my designs, you'll see that it actually created a folder with the name that I'm wanting to give the design. And inside of here, this is what's really neat, is the software automatically created all 4 of the files for you. And it gave you a preview. So I'm going to open up this PDF preview so you can see and I can explain a little bit of it. Let me go ahead and reduce the size of this. Okay, let's go down a little bit more. Okay, so you can see that it's going to show you the entire design. And as I scroll down to the second page, this is what's really neat, is that you see this little preview box right here. It's letting you know that we're working with the part of the design that's in the upper left hand corner. So it's kind of giving you a preview of where you're at. You'll also notice these black lines right here. This is like a basting stitch. So this is a stitch that's not locked in and it's easy to remove, but what it's used for is helping you to line up the next design right over the top of it. So this is a very important stitch that you'll remove, but it helps you to align each piece. So you'll see here it says there's 6 colors. It gives you the information about it. When we go to the next page, it gives you the color sequence. So the color sequence for this piece, again, it shows you the preview. You're going to use those colors in that sequence. And then we scroll down and you'll see that now we're going to be looking at we're going to be stitching the piece that's in the upper right hand corner of the design. And it's going to, as we scroll down here, it's going to give you the color sequence needed for that design, and so on. As you can see, the bottom left hand piece, and then the color sequence, and then finally the bottom right hand piece, and you'll notice that it still has these lines up here in every single one of them, the color sequence. So, and the other nice thing is too is that it tells you what design it is. It's part 4, and it's split love _00422. So when you go into your folder here, you'll notice that these are split love that automatically gives it this. You type in split love and it gives you this other part where it does 001, 002, 003, and 004. So that's the order that you go in to sew it out. And then the print preview shows you what it will look like. So that's what the print preview is, and I think it's pretty handy that it lets you know kind of where you're working in the design. So let's now go ahead and let's just open these designs up into your software. So let me grab these And I'm just going to drag them onto my work area over here. Okay, so I've brought them in, and I can put it in 3D view so you can see it. Let's go to the first one, the split love 001. So this is the first object that sews, and you can see that it has this black basting stitch. If you wanted to do a slow redraw, you could, to see how it's going to sew it out. That's how it's going to do the first piece, and then we'll go to the second one, and you will see that it has this design also feathered here to help with the blending the split pieces together, so it looks seamless. You have your basting stitch, and what you'll do is, the way that I would recommend doing this is printing these out onto something like your template tearaway. If you do that at actual size, it'll allow you to cut it out. You'll be able to line this up perfectly with the basting stitch that took place from the first one, so you can lay it right over the top of it, and it'll help you to be able to line it up really well. If you don't have a machine that has a camera in it, this is very helpful to use the template tearaway. So this is the second piece, and then we have the third piece here, and you can see that it has your basting stitch, and it's going to do this section right here. Let's go to our fourth one, and there's the fourth one. So you see that it creates each file for you that you can sew out, and it gives you that print preview. It's really neat. It's really easy to use. It doesn't take much time, and it all is based off of the hoop size that you chose. So we hope that you play around with this and you have fun with it. For those of you who need to split designs, we think that you'll love working with it, and it's a little bit different than how some of the systems out there are. And we think we came up with a really good and unique way of handling split designs. So we definitely hope that you enjoy it.